y'all, good morning. It is Friday at the farm and we are prepping for a market tomorrow. And I thought it would be a really good opportunity to spotlight our little Mason minis and kind of show you my process of creating one. You can see I've got my big bucket of flowers, and these are just three variations, I can't speak this morning, of some of our Mason minis. Usually I like to try and create something different for all of them, but because we're getting ready for this market and we're kind of on a time crunch and we're making so many, I have just kind of come up with a formula that helps kind of streamline everything, because sometimes when I get creative and try to make them all different, it slows me down. So we are going to make this one. I'm gonna set these to the side. All right, so in this jar, I just have water and our flower food. I can untangle everything. All right. I'm sorry, everything's falling out of the bucket. Okay, so what I usually like to start with is the greenery. I know everybody has their own method. I know some florists start with flowers. I like to start with the greenery. And this is fresh eucalyptus that we just cut. So it smells really good. It's very strong. So this is what I usually do. There's no method to my madness, so I'll just kind of explain as I'm going along. So I'm just gonna cut, and all the leaves, or all the stem that is going down in the jar, I usually strip the leaves off of. And then I just start kind of putting the eucalyptus in. Woo! And we are a working farm, so if you hear some tractors or somebody interrupts us, it's just, you know, it's farm life. It happens. Alright, I'm just going to keep going. I like a lot of eucalyptus. I like for them to smell nice. Not just look pretty, but smell nice too. Okay. I like starting with the greenery because I feel like it gives a good base for some of the other flowers to for like placement, if that made any sense. So the next thing I'm going to use is this is a cinnamon basil, and it smells exactly like the name cinnamon. We really like for our flowers to smell good, not just look pretty, like I already said. So I'm going to put a little sprig of that, and now I've got 2 in here. Again, just stripping the leaves. And my little trick for trying to figure out how to cut the stems, like the length that we want, I kind of back my jar up against the edge of the table and I measure how high I want it, and then I'll cut it at the base of the jar. I've done so many of these though that sometimes I usually can just eyeball it. Okay, next I am going to go in with our orange marigolds, and I've got 3 of those in there. I usually like to work in odd numbers. Sometimes though you just have to look at it, and if it needs another one, you just pop another one in there. Alright, so with these marigolds, I usually strip a lot of the greenery, but I like the texture of the greenery, and I also like these little offshoots. So I usually try to keep those on. I just think they're fun. Add a lot of texture, some height variance. Okay, here we go. Put this one over so you can see a little better. Here we go. Give it a little spin. Alright, now I'm going to go in with our beautiful yellow zinnias. I've heard a lot of people calling them zinnias. I've never called them a zinnia. I actually have never heard of that, of people calling them that until this year. Just weird to me. All right, so I'm just gonna kind of plop these down, and I want to make them different heights as well. FYI, I just heard a tractor crank up, so you know, hopefully you can still hear me if it passes by. I do strip the leaves of the zinnias. I almost said zinnias. Now I got zinnias in my head. I'm actually going to cut this one down a little bit more because I didn't like how the height was lining up with these two marigolds. So I'm going to cut it down more. That way it's down a little bit further. Okay. Now I'm going to go in with our red coxcomb celosia. We refer to these as brains because when they are bigger, which I don't have one right here, but when they're bigger, I mean, they honestly, they look like brains. So we have them in red and yellow, but I like the red for this one. I'm just going to kind of tuck those in, fill up some of those gaps and holes. Hard to work off this table. I'm not used to this table. I'm going to cut this down a little bit more. There we go. Now I'm going to fill in with some gomphrena. So we have a white gomphrena, a pink, like a carmine color, and purple. Yeah. So this is one of my favorite flowers. I just think they're cute. I don't know, that's weird to say a flower's cute, but I think they're cute. And I don't usually strip all the leaves off of them because I just like the fullness of them. This one's crazy. My mom jokes with me all the time because I kind of hoard our gomphrena. I love it so much. I don't like to cut it. I'm going to do one more. We'll start with that. We'll just give it a little twirl and make sure there's no gaps. Okay, and last, I am going to come in with a different kind of celosia. I like the texture of this, and I'm going to make these a little bit higher just because I feel like it needs a little bit more oomph. This is my oomph. So, and these I just kind of eyeball. I didn't think that was even going down in the jar. And I just kind of scatter them around. And I usually, I'm doing 5 of these. See, there's my odd numbers. Also like how it just kind of gives it a flowy look, like a wildflower arrangement, like you kind of just picked him up off the side of the road. I don't know, this guy might be a little too long. I might trim him just a hair. There we go. Alright, I'm going to give it one last little twirl. And sometimes if you feel like the flowers are a little too compact down in the jar, we can just kind of shake it out a little bit, loosen them up, get them a little bit flowy. And then you can adjust the stems as needed too, because there's a lot of stuff down in the jar now to keep them in place if you want to pull this one up a little bit higher, but I kind of liked where he was. like we might need one last piece of eucalyptus coming out of the center. So let me see if I can find one that's even long enough. I don't think I have one on here that's long enough. So instead of that, what I'll do, I might just tuck him down right here in the center just so you can see him. And then I have an extra marigold over here. It's got a little offshoot. I am going to tuck him in the center. There we go. And now we're done. And now you have perfect little fall mini.